All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a prime example of why I hate politics. You see the logo right there. You see the logo. This is why I hate politics. And some would even argue this is kind of the undertone, the common denominator of politics, which I can agree, but it's never in my lifetime. Okay, I don't want to say never. In my lifetime, I'm 38 years old. My first election was Obama, okay? I haven't seen racism and bigotry this potent, like this in your face. I'm going to be racist and people are going to reward me. People are going to support me. People are going to have my back. The more racist I can be, the more bigotry I can, shove in front of people, the bigger the reward. And to me, it's like, it's crazy. It's honestly lazy, because coming up with solutions and problem solving takes a little bit more effort, but that's the environment that we're in today. And we have a few folks to, think along the way, because this took years to get to this level. This wasn't overnight. People like David Duke. Remember David Duke trying to run for Congress? Crazy. Steve King, Ray Moore, Pat Buchanan, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Thank God she is adios, amigo. Well, at least for now. And Laura Boebert. And that's just a few. That's just a few that I could just think of. That strategy is not solutions, it's not policies, but it's the more hateful I could be, I can tap into a large enough base to get support and then have power to dictate over hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people's lives. This is an important position that these people are asking for. And they're only going, thanks to Trump, because he kicked that door. He ran down that wall full force in 2014, 2015. He paved the way and showed people that you don't have to be smart. You don't have to be educated. You don't have to be loving or bridge building. You just have to be your hateful self and you can be president. And white and Christian. I mean, you can halfway be Christian, but you know what I'm saying. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have James Fishback. Yes, Mr. James Fishback. I've spoken about him one other time a few months ago, but he is back in the news, and he's the one that was on Jubilee. And once we see his videos, you'll remember who I'm talking about. But he was on Jubilee, which gives you more information on why people partake in debates like Jubilee. But once again, he is running for governor in Florida, and he says some pretty crazy things about Don Lemon. Now, let's go back down a few weeks. This is a few weeks ago. Let's get some receipts. Let's get his energy. So then when you read the tweet that he said about Don Lemon, then you know exactly what this motherfucker was talking about. This is not reading between the lines. This is not like, victim, trying to be a victim here. No. If you understand who someone is, you're not going to be confused when they're trying to tell you who they are. So let's go ahead, go down memory lane here. Just a few months. This was a few months ago. And let's get into it.
We are sick and tired of apologizing for who we are. We're sick and tired of the white guilt. We're sick and tired of the racial politics. And I'll tell you right now, we're sick and tired of being replaced in our own country. It must stop and stop now.
Oh, the great replacement theory. Thank you, Tucker Carlson. That is a very big red flag. You are trying to convince people that they're being replaced. Got you. All right, let's go to the next one here.
If we're going to play this game of immigrants are good, is one immigrant good? I don't know, maybe if it's Elon Musk. But if it's 100 immigrants, is it a million? Or
Did he just say maybe Elon Musk? I must have missed that the first time. What?
immigrants are good. Is one immigrant good? I don't know, maybe if it's Elon Musk. But if it's 100 immigrants, is it a million? Are you Matthew Iglesias and you want to have 1 billion people here? We have to draw the line somewhere. I draw the line right here at the integer known as 0, complete immigration moratorium. I hope these folks will support that at the federal level, but within my state powers, if you give me this awesome responsibility to serve you as Florida governor, I will on my first day, I don't need the legislature to do it, I will direct the Board of Governors to direct every public university, including this one, to raise the tuition for both future and existing foreign students to $1 million a year.
Damn.
Standing out.
He wants to increase. This is crazy. He's not even hiding it. He said 0. Even though he's an immigrant. Hey guys, this is not to read in between the lines no more. This is in your face. You can't make no excuses for it. I better not hear not a damn excuse in my comment section of this guy here. But hey, there's more.
Outside the historic Capitol in Tallahassee, James Fishback said he wants an office in the other one.
And I just filed my paperwork with the supervisor of elections right down the street. I'm officially a candidate for governor.
The 30-year-old investor from Madison County says his campaign will mirror and extend the DeSantis era.
Congressman Byron Donalds can't be our next governor because he won't fight for Florida like Ron DeSantis has.
Okay.
I will.
But right out of the gate, Fishback seems to have stirred controversy, saying this about the GOP frontrunner, Congressman Byron Donalds, a black man.
Byron Donalds is a slave. I'm sorry, he's a slave. He is a slave to his donors. He is a slave to the corporate interests, to the tech bros that want to turn our state into, his own words, a financial capital.
Fishback doubled
down
later online, writing,
hold on.
quote, Byron Donalds is a slave to his corporate donors. It's the truth. The Donalds campaign.
Okay. Hey. Byron Donalds is a slave to his donors. Okay, I love that pause that he did. But okay, let's take what he has to say. Okay, let's break this down like a fraction. Byron Donalds is a slave to donors. I could partly agree with that. I don't like donors. I don't like lobbyists. I don't like super PACs. I don't like any PAC. Okay. But is it a coincidence he's talking about a black man? As much as we don't like or respect Byron, is it a coincidence? And you're probably asking yourself, well, maybe it is. He's running against Byron, so he's just putting two, one and one together and coming up with 2. Well, my question would be, is if he has an issue with, politicians receiving donor money from corporations and institutions and lobbyists and super PACs, what about Ron DeSantis? Last time I checked, he's getting checks. What are we talking about here? And the greatest one of all, their Lord in Christ, Donald Trump, receives all kinds of money. I mean, this guy is the godfather of receiving outside money. This guy is the greatest at doing that. But you haven't called him out. Pretty much every Republican under the sun on God's green earth is receiving super PACs or some sort of lobby money. So is it a coincidence you're calling a black man a slave? Hey, I think you got to be pretty stupid to believe that. Okay, I'm just going to say that. All right.
You know what, James
All right.
Fishback?
Let's go one more and then we're going to read the tweet. But once again, I need to build the foundation of his character, of his rhetoric, so we can understand what he said about Don Lemon is no trickery. He said what he said. All right, let's go to 405.
Earn a great living and then go on to raise a great God-fearing family.
Really quick, I mean, obviously Florida is a destination for so many people, whether to live or as tourism and beyond. And there's also a number of immigrants who are living in Florida, as you well know, all across the area. You have suggested that companies are, quote, importing Indians, and you want a complete ban on immigration, legal or illegal. Indian Americans make up, I think, less than 1% of Florida's entire population. Why do you single out Indian Americans?
Well, I single out Indian Americans not because they're Indian Americans. I single them out because they're 77% of all H-1Bs given. This is not about anyone from a particular country. It is about Americans. I don't hate immigrants. I don't hate any of that. What I love is I love our people. I love folks from Pahokee and Belle Glade and Clewiston and Davie and Brooksville. I love them so much that I want to serve them as the next governor after Ron DeSantis, because I want to fight for them, the ability for them to go to high school, to go off to college or technical school, get a great paying job so they can raise a family and live out the full arc of the American dream. That's why I'm running for Florida governor, and I'd be honored to have their vote.
Now, to a regular person, that might seem captivating or sensible, but it's not. You have to deal with the fact, whether you like it or not, this country has been built by immigrants, like literally built by immigrants, and even today maintained by immigrants. Everybody, some way, somehow, some sort, is an immigrant. I mean, if you want to get technical, okay. So now his rhetoric is hiding, his bigotry is hiding behind, I want to take care of Americans and not immigrants. The simple fact that he's trying to scapegoat, this is once again another Republican trick, trying to scapegoat immigrants as if they're the problem for the American people. So he wants to shun them from the country. And that's going to do what for the American people? Once again, we talked about this in great detail. It is the consolidation of power and money and wealth from the very few that is the problem. Not immigrants, not poor people like you. They're not your problem. And if you believe that, then I'm sorry. I got a bridge to sell you. That's $1 million. I will text it to you, okay?
I'll be curious to see if the American dream and your debates coming forward will include those who come to the United States, are able to achieve citizenship, and then contribute to the community. Does that also contribute to the American dream?
I don't think so. I think the American dream, quite frankly, is for Americans. I don't think you can make America great again with foreigners or immigrants or any of that nonsense. I want to look to the folks in my community who look very different from me, to tell you the truth. The folks in my community who are Americans, who have been in our state for generations, who may have just gotten a job as a plumber, as a dry cleaner, as a bus driver, as my dad did for 10 years down in Broward County where I grew up. I want to fight for them so they can be able to live out the mark of American dream. That's what this is all about.
So no one can become American to you?
Well, look, I think we can talk about citizenship, but we can really talk about the folks that are actually here, who are actually contributing. I'm sorry, Laura, if you're a Haitian American who got here 5 weeks ago on TPS, you're not all of a sudden an American. You don't get food stamps. You don't get an Obama phone, because Ellis Island, they weren't handing those things out earlier. I want to fight for people who are going to actually contribute to our country, and those people are already here. I'm going to fight for them.
Wow. Hey, okay. So like I said, this guy is off his motherfucking rocker. I mean, maybe not. Okay, I need to recalibrate my thinking. This is America. This is America fully naked. No clothes, no nothing, fully exposed to you. Okay? That is America. And so long it's been trying to not seem racist, to not seem like a bigot. But now it's like, hey guys, I'm America. I am naked. Take me as I am. That is that right there. Now, let me show you his tweet. And once again, it is kind of disturbing. All right, here is his tweet. Hopefully you can see that. Let me kind of get that out of my face. Damn, man. This is remarks they posted on Twitter. I would never call it X. He said, it said, breaking, Don Lemon has been arrested by federal agents. And this was a few days ago. And his response was Don Lemon is lucky he's not getting hanged in the public square for ransacking a church. Let me repeat for the people in the back, okay? Because I know you guys aren't listening. You're chatting about Pokemon. This is not the time. Pay attention. He said, and I repeat, Don Lemon is lucky he's not getting hanged in the public square for ransacking a church. Can somebody give me the definition of ransacking? I know it's like breaking in, stealing, scrambling through, items and things, but give me a definition of ransacking. And I want to see if this matches what we know of what Don Lemon has done or hasn't done. Because the last time we know, and we're going to talk about this in our next segment, Don did none of that. I didn't see any ransacking. He live streamed his entire moment he was there. I didn't see any ransacking. What are we talking about here? And we already know this is a history, American history, of white racist people lynching African Americans for little to no reason. Sometimes just for fun. I will never forget, and I was really young when I seen this. This is because of the internet, I seen a picture of a family. I seen a picture of a white family. It was a black and white photo, sitting down, having a picnic. And you can see, the little checkered, cloth on the floor. They had like two little kids, like two little girls, a mother and a father smiling, and some people in the back, kind of doing their own thing. And just right there in the top right corner, you can vividly see a black man lynched right above him, like a little off right above him. They did this shit for fun. They laughed about it. They gleed about it. Ransacking. Thank you for that definition. This is dangerous. To normalize things like this here, this is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. One, it turns an entire group of people into enemies. It normalizes violence without saying violence. It replaces solutions with scapegoats. It poisons future generations. And it's a shortcut to authoritarian dictatorship. Guys, this is not it. You can say what you want about Don Lemon. I love Don Lemon as a journalist. His politics, I'm pretty sure we disagree 80% of the time. But this is not it here. Last time I checked, ransacking, if you truly believe that, the punishment isn't lynching. Unless you're a racist piece of shit. Which James Fishback is that. That's him.
Let's see how you do under pressure. I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra. Fuck with me, you know that